Sam's on anyway, which is great. Sam, for your benefit,
we are live.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a beautiful Thursday morning. I'm going to call this meeting to order. I can't see anybody. Can I get an adoption of the minutes from the June 13th meeting?
You can use me as a mover, Sam.
Okay. We got a mover. We got a seconder.
I'll second, Steve.
Okay. All in favor?
Yay.
Aye.
Yeah. I can't see anybody. I just see one person at a time here. Okay. So
Go to
Can you
gallery.
just
Go to gallery view. Up in the upper left, you'll see a bunch of small squares.
that's much better. Thank you. There is other people out there.
Happy to be of service.
Hey, thank you. Okay, so can I get an approval of the agenda as presented? John, and okay, thank you. And disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. None seeing. Matters for consideration, the child care funding approach. And I believe that is Pam's report. Pam in here?
Thank you. I am.
Okay,
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I don't really have anything further to add to the report. This is just the long-awaited new funding formula that is to take place January 1st, 2025 for those programs who offer programming for children 0 to 5 and are enrolled in the CWELC program. For those outside of that program, so offering the 6 to 12, they'll still be funded as we currently do through the local priorities. But happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Pam?
Move the information be received.
Don't receive. All in favor? Motion is carried. Performance metric. Tell us performance metric, and that is Kent.
We're actually at number 2,
Oh.
Brian. Housing and homelessness plan.
Oh, how did I get that far ahead of myself? I got the right one pulled up here. Okay. What is going on here? I'm having technical difficulties on my end here.
I can email
And
you.
that's why we do a printed copy. Okay, so housing and homeless plan update from September 3rd. Staff report, this will be Scott Robinson. Scott in this morning, there you are.
Yes. Hello, good morning, everyone. Yes, this is just an annual update that we provide to the industry and to the community just about our progress on our housing and homelessness plan. It was developed in 2014 with a big update in 2019, and we provide an annual update. So this is just kind of like the state of the nation in housing and homelessness in our area.
Hey, any questions for Scott? Go ahead. Oh,
hi? I'm hoping that was me, Mr. Chair, that you were saying go ahead to.
yes, Councilor Brandon Horst. Yes, sorry.
Oh, okay, perfect. Hi, Scott. How are you?
Hi. Good, great, thank you.
Just a couple questions. My first being, I noticed that other entities were named for the different programs, and I was just wondering if onto your report, just like a small thing, if we could add Leeward House just to where you say the new transitional house. I just think it might be helpful for anybody that's reading the document just to have the name in case they want to do a quick Google search or anything that, so then it's just easier to go through information if that's possible.
Yes, no problem. Sorry, that was an omission on my part. It should have been in there. I've actually been mentioning it in trying to purposefully mention that in all the reports that I have. So sorry that I left that
Yeah.
out.
No, no worries. I'm really excited about your moving forward section. I think it looks like a great use of, it's really exciting that we can use all of the money now towards homelessness prevention without having to divvy it up. And some of your, like, the strategies look great, especially some landlord engagement strategies. I really appreciated that. And going back to having some more funds provided for the housing repair, because I think we were worried originally when the money was taken away that we wouldn't be able to offer that program, correct? Or
That's right. Yes. Yeah, there's an upcoming report here about coaching and OFI funding, but if you recall, it was delayed this year. The federal and provincial governments were having a bit of a dispute, but that's been settled. So we have that money now to look, as much as we look at building new, it's really important to look after the stock we have. It was built in the 60s, 70s, 80s. If you don't look after it, then you don't have it. And it's so costly to replace. So yes, I agree. That's a really important piece to all this.
I do just
Okay,
want
any
to ask
other-
one more question. Oh,
Sure.
sorry, Mr.
Go
Chair.
ahead.
Can I have one more?
Yes, you can.
If no one else does, I can wait.
No, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I was wondering, underneath this mindset, I know we spoke privately specifically about the County REITs program inside of Prince Edward County or County Kids REITs. And I was wondering, I know County Kids REITs uses the CAS or has teamed up with the CAS and community care or community living in Prince Edward, specifically to help different families have workers have different check-in points. So they give out free books for workers to be able to come in and see, and it's a really great bonding for the community. I was wondering if that might have been thought of, or could we think about, and if there's a program in Lennox and Addington, I would be more than supportive of that. Just an entity of supporting an organization that helps educate, helps give families with a rougher go a chance to educate and give their children a bigger boost in life. But also it would be beneficial, I think, for Pellis workers because it would give them an inside of free books to kind of be like, oh, hey, we're dropping off a gift, and maybe they can do like a quick through the room scan. I don't know if that could be possible or thought about, but
Well, I should let people know this is not a pre-planned question. Ann Preston from County Kids Reads has already reached out to me. I connected her with our child care coordinator. They've already met. And some point in September, she'll be meeting with all of the caseworkers at our Picton office just to get that program moving from our end. And everybody so far that I've talked to in Pellis's Pellis employees have really been very interested and want to meet with Anne. So yeah, we've already started that move and it's moving forward. So that's great. And I think it's a great program.
okay.
Excellent.
Is there
Yeah,
anyone in
yeah.
Lennox and Addington that has a similar program that
Um,
might be a more out of the box way to encourage homelessness prevention?
yeah,
Do we know?
I'm looking for some with Kingston Literacy Services, something like that. Sorry, just connecting with them to see if they have a similar program, because I know Carrie Kippen from our office who met with Ann was really excited by the program, and actually Ann, I think the meeting went really well, and they can connect a number of people to the program who need books. And of course, when I think of our clients, and just because you're in social housing doesn't mean you don't have books, but wouldn't everybody like to have more access to even more books? So we're promoting that for sure.
Amazing, thank you. And thank you for your letting me ask questions, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Mayor Ferguson, did you have your hand up there for a question, or are you good? No. Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to for that one? Councillor Brandon Horst, Warden John Wise, thank you. Motion is carried. On to transitional housing now. Item number 3. And I guess that's Scott again.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to you and through you to the rest of the committee. Just a report about transitional housing. I do have one correction. You'll note that we have 91 people on our by name list. And then on page 2, I talk about 75 people on our by name list. Sorry, that should have been updated. So that 75 should be 91, which means about half of the people on our by name list are living in transitional housing. And I want to make one other, to draw your attention to one other area, the start of page 3, where we've solved housing for 30 people through our transitional housing program. That's a really great stat, and it's not just a stat. There are 30 people, and it means a lot to them and their families and friends that they're no longer homeless. It means a lot to the community. And, you know, I wish we were able to do that more rapidly, but it does take time, about a year and a half, 2 years, sometimes 3 years for a person to transition from kind of a very rough street life, living on the street 4 or 5 years, to not being on the street at all and not having those areas of concern where they might be on the street. So just a really great number I'm pretty happy about here.
Excellent. Is there any questions for Scott on this? I know I have one. Oh, John, go ahead, Councillor Warden Wise.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I didn't have a question, Scott. I just wanted to commend you on this report. I was particularly interested in simply the economics of people on ODSP and Ontario Works, and the big gap between what they receive for their shelter allowance, or whatever you would call it, and the actual cost. That kind of specific detail is very graphic, and I appreciate the thoroughness of this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Warden Wise, and through you, Mr. Chair, to the rest of the committee. You know, there's many reasons for homelessness, but one of the major reasons is just the cost of housing. And eventually, whenever there's a scarce commodity or a scarce resource, you know, the most vulnerable people are usually the ones left without that resource. And that's what we're seeing here and with homelessness for sure.
Okay, and my question was your by name list that you have, does that include the people also sleeping in their cars and living out of their vehicles?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. That's a good question, because it involves anybody that we've come in contact and that our community partner agencies have come in contact who are unhoused and want to be on our by name list. And by our by name list, you're saying you can discuss me and my case with all the other community partners. So we have some unhoused people that are fine with that. We have some unhoused people that are like, okay, it's okay if you talk to addictions and mental health. It's okay if you talk to the community health center, but I don't want you talking to the police about me. So we're still working with them, but they just aren't on our by name list. And I think provincially it's accepted that probably whatever number's on your by name list, it's at least double, maybe 3 or 4 times that number. And we are aware of people in their cars. We have people living in lots of situations, people in trailers, in tents, in their cars, in campers, in hunting cabins that are on our by name list. And we also know that we have people in all those situations who aren't on our by name list. I should clarify too that you don't need to be on our by name list for us to help you. You can say no thank you to the by name list and you still get great service from us.
Okay. Okay, any other questions for Scott? Seeing none, can I get a motion? Councillor Davison, Mayor Steve Ferguson, thank you. Okay, so on to item number 4, Canada-Ontario Community Housing Initiative and the Ontario Priority Housing Initiative Investment Plan. And that would be Scott again.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So if you recall from a couple of the last couple of meetings with the Pellis Committee, we were expecting to get this money, but there was a delay. We now have this money. And I think two people might recall some of the pressures we're under to fund our rent supplement program. So we're able to fund about $30,000 of our $700,000 rent supplement program through this funding. And then the remainder of this funding goes to all of the community housing out there that I talked about earlier, just, built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, where this goes to capital improvements to make sure that that stock is still in great shape. And I have to inform the committee too that our housing stock is in great shape, not just the housing that we run and ourselves, the local housing committee or corporation, but the nonprofits as well. Everything's in really good condition. So it's great to see.
Any questions for Scott on that one? Okay, seeing none. I've got a motion to receive that one. Councilor Brandhorst, Warden Wise, thank you. All in favor?
Mr. Chair.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yep.
that motion would be more than just to receive. There's a couple of directives on there, just to be clear on that.
Okay. Yeah, I lost my computer, so I've only got my printed part here.
Oh, I'll read it out if you
Yeah,
want.
if you would, that would be great.
So to note and receive, and also that the investment plans for these two programs be approved by the committee, and further that staff be authorized to reallocate program funds between the program components in response to local needs to ensure full utilization of allocation. So I'm sure the mover is clear on that. I just wanted it stated for the record. Thank you.
No, thank you. Like I say, I lost my computer, so all I've got is my printed agenda sheet at the
Sure.
beginning. Okay, excellent. A mover and a seconder on that one.
I think Sam moved that, didn't you, Sam?
Yep, Sam
Yeah,
moved
and I
that.
seconded, Brian.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Motion's carried. Now on to performance metrics. And that is,
We're actually on national housing strategy. It was just
I am so sorry that I'm all screwed up when I lost my computer. I'm so sorry. Yes, National Housing Strategy. Ontario Federation is funding through National Housing Strategy. And that would be, whose report is that?
It's just a piece
Yeah,
of.
that's just that letter, wasn't it? Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Mr. Chair, if I can help,
That would be great.
Telling us about the earlier report that we actually got the
Yes.
funding. So it's just informing you and the committee of that.
Okay. Go ahead, Councilor Brandhorst.
Hi, just a quick question. Getting this money is great, and do you know if they've sent out any timelines? I noticed in the letter they didn't really put out anything. I'm just curious on.
Yes, through Mr. Chair, through you to Councilor Brandhorst and the rest of the committee. It's funny, we have access to the Canada-Ontario Community Housing Initiative, that's COCHI, and the Ontario Priorities Housing Initiative, OFI. But there's another program, the Canada-Ontario Housing Benefit, which is kind of like a rent supplement that we've been told we're going to get access to soon, but we don't have access to those funds yet. So this letter, I was reading it, I was really hoping that it would say, and by, September 25th, you'll have access to that money or something like that, but it hasn't happened yet.
Is soon this year?
Yeah, well, I think it was, I can't remember the date, Mayor Ferguson, but I think it was early August where they said you have access to COCHI, you have access to OFI, and you'll get access to COB soon. And I can tell you service managers around the province and part of this Eastern Ontario service manager group called the Seaway Group, lots of questions, like people coming back from holidays. Tell me I missed it while I was on holidays, but we have access to this, and we don't have access yet. But we're anticipating that and definitely have lots of plans for that funding when it becomes available.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Okay. And we get a mover on that one. Are any other questions at all?
No.
No. Okay. Councillor Davison moves that,
Receipt.
and Councillor Brandenhorst, thank you. Okay. Now we're looking into closed session, are we?
Performance metrics.
Okay, performance metrics.
Thank you,
Staff
Mr. Chair.
report, yes.
Good morning, everyone. This report is to provide an update on the performance metrics at Palace. There was a slight increase in the Ontario Works caseload in July compared to June. The caseload currently sits at 965 cases. The number of clients on the caseload reporting paid employment decreased by less than 1% in July, and the province has seen similar trends as Palace in their performance metrics as well. Within children's services, the number of fee subsidy applications received in June and July were similar to the applications received in 2023 for the same months. The number of children supported through fee subsidy increased slightly in July, ending with a total of 172 children and 103 households being supported. In housing services, we placed 11 households in rent-geared income housing over the past 2 months. Palace has received an average of 29 housing applications per month since the beginning of the year. There are currently 91 active individuals on the binding list, and as of August, there were 543 individuals on the housing wait list. And I'd be happy to take any questions on the performance metrics at this time.
Go ahead, Mayor Ferguson.
No, I'm just. No, I'm okay for now.
Okay, all right.
Just going through the agenda package here and the information.
Okay, Councillor Brandenhorst?
Hi, thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you. The housing waitlist section of the metrics, when you're looking at it, we have like that steep decline. Is that specifically from when the different families were homed, like you mentioned?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. So that was when we did the review of the housing waitlist, and then
Okay.
Through that review is when we did the update, and that's where we found the decrease.
And do you have any ideas why the graph for specifically the by name list is going directly up? Is that also because of going through the name list and also re-talking to different individuals? Has there been different strategies moving forward to increase that? It's just been on like quite an upward trend, which is not a bad thing, but
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. Scott, do you want to take that one?
Yes, thank you, Ken. Yes, Mr. Chair, through you. Yes, I expect our by name list to go up for a couple of reasons. I think there's more unhoused people, but also we're getting better at working with our community partners. I think we work with them really well, but we're working with them even better, and also convincing people who are unhoused of the value of being on our by name list. So I expect that number will probably go up for both those reasons. Just there's more unhoused people, and also we're reaching out to more people, and more people are understanding the benefit of being on the by name list. So it'll probably go up for the next few months.
okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Any other questions there on that? Okay. Seeing none. Can I get a motion on this one? Councillor Warden Wise. And Councillor Brandenhorst. Thank you. Okay. Closed session pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for this part of the meeting will be closed to the public in order to consider a proposed or pending acquisition of land by the municipality, to consider financial information supplied in confidence to the municipality. And I've got so we're going into closed session. Okay, the pursuit of section 29, I read that. Okay. Can I get a motion to go into closed session? Mayor Ferguson, Warden Wise. Thank you. Are we off of our YouTube channel at this moment?
No, just hold on. We have a couple
Okay.
of steps that we have to do to ensure that we can pause the stream.
Sorry, I'm just having some difficulty getting my screen to share here. One moment.
It's awesome.
I'm sure those tenants are extremely happy.
Yeah.
Or will be for sure.
Will be. I don't think they know about it, but
They
no.
probably wouldn't know about it. Can you imagine the stress load if they did?
Oh, it would be very stressful. So
Yeah.
yeah, we've talked to a few of them already, not about that, but just managing their tenancies. So it's great. Thank you.
Okay, we're live again.
Okay. In closed session, the Pellis Committee considered a potential acquisition of property and reviewed the information supplied in confidence to the municipality. I'll ask for a motion of the Pellis Committee direct staff to proceed as directed in closed session. Can I get a mover on that? Warden Wise and Councillor Davison. Thank you. Okay. Can I get that's a rise and report. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Warden Wise, Councillor Brandhorst, all in favor?